Good evening, welcome to Primetime News on MTV Sports. My name is Vikram. We start off with a look at tonight's headlines. Armed group kidnaps a child from a house in Migalava, Galgamur. NFF to contest for the Uva Provincial Council as a separate party.
තවදුරටත් ජයග්‍රහණ දිනාදීම සඳහා අපදරන ප්‍රයත්නය පේන්නේ සතුරු ප්‍රයත්නයක් හැටියට නම් එබඳු කණ්ඩායමක් සමග කටයුතු කරන්න පුළුවන්කමක් අපට නැහැ.
Muslims the world over celebrate Eid ul-Fitr. Starting off with one of our headline stories tonight, a group that broke into a house in the Katugampal area in Migalava, Galgamur, kidnapped a 4.5-year-old boy. According to the police, no information has come to light yet about the whereabouts of the child.
Yasin Lankanath Kumar Ekanayaka was abducted yesterday at around 8:45 p.m. A girl who witnessed the ordeal explained the incidents that transpired. According to the police media spokesperson's office, 4 individuals who had been wearing masks had arrived in 2 motorbikes and abducted the infant. The parents of the kidnapped child were assaulted and they sustained injuries. Find my son. Take everything I have and find my son. Lankanath Kumar Ekanayaka's father was a businessman. The police media spokesperson's office noted that no suspects have been identified as yet, but notes that investigations are underway into the kidnapping.
Leader of the National Freedom Front, Minister Vikram, says that the party will contest alone for the upcoming Uva Provincial Council election. Addressing a media briefing in Colombo today, Vikram pointed out that they took this decision as the government has not yet acted upon the proposals forwarded by them.
Ministers
Basil Rajapaksa and Dallas Alhapperma engaged in discussions with us and accepted the 12 proposals that we forwarded. We gave an active plan to them. However, the top officials of the government are yet to provide a satisfactory response in this regard. If this government sees those who point out shortcomings as enemies and those who speak only good about the government as friends, then we cannot decide the fate of this government. The public will decide how long they need to retain such a government. If the government does not see the need to make a progressive change, then I don't believe such a government will be able to sustain itself for long. We worked hard to make this government and we also worked hard to protect it. If they see our efforts to secure victory for the government as a move by an enemy, then we won't be able to work with them any longer. We will place our faith in the people of the Uva province and we will contest the Uva election for the first time as a single party. It doesn't matter if you win 100 or 10. As a minister of this government, if it is inappropriate to contest alone, then the president can take a decision on it. I don't need to take any decision. You can wait and see how it happens. I cannot answer your question now. I have a response, but I cannot say it now.
Journalists also questioned Minister Vikram on the accident faced by MP Andrakumara Disanayaka.
He met with an accident and is in hospital. We wish him a speedy recovery. I wanted to see him, but I didn't go because they might turn me back. We wish him a speedy recovery. JVP leader Andrakumara Disanayaka's driver, who was arrested on charges of reckless driving, was released on bail today. Police media spokesperson SSV Ajit Rohan stated that the driver was arrested in connection to the accident which occurred in the Kiriyal area in Ratnapura with parliamentarian Andrakumara Disanayaka on board. The
driver, who was produced before the Ratnapura Magistrates Court this evening, was released on a surety bail of Rs 50,000. The police stated that the case will be taken up again on the 4th of August. Meanwhile, MP Dissanayake, who was receiving treatment at the Colombo National Hospital, was discharged this morning. Director of the accident unit of the National Hospital stated that as his condition was not serious, he was allowed to leave hospital.
Opposition leader of the Katharagama Pradesh Sabha, Ashoka Vikram met with President Mahinda Rajapaksa yesterday and pledged his support for the UPFA.
According to the presidential media unit, Ashoka Vikram met with President Mahinda Rajapaksa at Temple Trees yesterday. Issuing a release, the presidential media unit stated that Ashoka Vikram, who served as the chairman of the Katharagama Pradesh Sabha for 19 years, had met with President Rajapaksa and had decided to support the development efforts underway in the Uva province. Vikram had pledged to support the UPFA during the upcoming Uva Provincial Council election.
Still in local news, health workers attached to 27 professions have decided to engage in a trade union action by not reporting for work tomorrow. The trade union action is being launched, calling on officials to confirm their employment and a number of other demands.
Today marks 15 days since the health sector workers attached to 27 professions commenced a Satyagraha campaign opposite the Colombo National Hospital. A media briefing was convened at the location today to explain their issues.
මේකේ විශාල සේවක සංඛ්‍යාවක් ඉන්නවා මේ රෝහල් වල වැඩ කරනවා. හැබැයි ඉල්ලන පරක්කුවෙන් දෙන
There are a large number of employees attached to hospitals. There are certain officials in hospitals who fulfill the needs of trade unions. It has been a year. However, the issues that are faced by these 27 professions have not been addressed. The Ministry of Health has not intervened in this matter, nor has any other political party got actively involved in this issue.
වෙනකොටත් මේ අරගලයට සක්‍රීය ලෙස මැදිහත් වෙලා නැහැ.
Addressing a function at the Anuradhapura Nurses Training Centre today, Minister Maithripala Sirisena made this request. Be it doctors, nurses, midwives, supplementary service officials or health ministry officials, we are all one group and we have a responsibility to the people. Therefore, we need to always strive to reach our goals with regards to service. Do not forget that in order to achieve these goals, we should work together and we should share a common bond.
With the provincial council elections looming, we now take a look at our special segment, Battle for Uber.
I have no relatives in politics. I don't want to crush the opportunity that young leaders have to get involved in politics.
My son is a provincial councillor. That is why I brought him forward. It doesn't matter if I do it or if my son does it.
They enjoyed luxury while we are upset. We are in the ditch while they are not. That is what you call democracy. This is what you call a bright future. This is the miracle.
I am certain that the UPFA will win the Uva Provincial Council elections. If we don't, I will cut off my right ear. We are not afraid because we are with the people.
What have we got for the past 66 years? We haven't received anything. Did you receive houses instead of your line houses? Did you get the chance to eat 3 square meals a day? No. Did you get a road to your villages? You don't have any facilities.
The Newsfirst team that engaged on a tour of the Halyala area was able to witness the hardships being faced by residents of the Attalagedara village in Maligathana division. Area residents state that they do not have sufficient water to meet their daily needs. This tank, which was constructed to store rainwater, has dried up entirely due to the drought. The lack of water has also caused construction work at a nearby temple to come to a standstill. If there was a tube well, we could have got some water. We could have had some water to allow these school children to wash up. This location earlier provided water to nearly 400 families. However, this source of water has also dried up.
Since these area residents have not been able to gather drinking water, they have been forced to travel long distances to obtain what little water they can. We joined them on their journey.
This public well located in Tannalla is the only water source available for residents of surrounding villages.
A group came here and told us that they will provide water. They said they would dig a well about 5 kilometers from this location and they collected 4,000 to 5,000 rupees from the people. However, there is no well, no water and no money. People come here and say that they will provide water. The people vote for them because of these promises. They take the votes and then they return to villages again for the next election.
Welcome back to Primetime News. Muslims the world over celebrate Ramzan today. The festival, also known as Eid ul-Fitr, is celebrated during the month of Ramzan, having concluded a month of fasting leading up to the sighting of the new moon.
Devotees of Islam observe a month-long fast, and it is only after the sighting of the new moon that the festival Ramazan is declared. Devotees of Islam observe a month-long fast, and it is only after the sighting of the new moon that the festival Ramazan is declared. Numerous religions' observances were held in mosques across the island today. This is the manner in which devotees were seen engaged in prayers in Galface, Colombo this morning.
Meanwhile, a number of messages were released to mark Eid ul-Fitr.
In his message to mark the festival of Eid ul-Fitr, President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the peace that prevails in the country today has contributed towards facilitating the religious practices of Muslims. The President also notes that the Muslim community in the country has lived together in harmony with other ethnic and religious communities for many centuries. The President's message also notes that everyone should work together for the betterment and development of the country. Meanwhile, issuing a message, General Secretary of the Citizens Front, MP J. Sri Ranga, says that the month of fasting inculcates the quality of patience, and through this we are able to develop harmony between all nationalities. Leader of the National Unity Front, Central Provincial Councillor Asad Sali, issuing a message to mark Eid ul-Fitr, notes that all communities should act with patience and stand united. He adds that the month of Ramadan teaches people to help and support each other. In his message to mark the festival, Chief Minister of the North Central Province, C.V. Vigneswaran, says that if a meaningful peace is to be attained, attention should be focused on providing responses to the political issues faced by minorities. The Chief Minister notes that this would foster better relations between all communities.
Taking a look at another pressing issue in recent times, the protest launched by the fishermen of Rameshwaram, calling on Sri Lankan officials to release Indian fishing vessels, continued for a sixth day today. According to our correspondent, the fishermen raised white flags on their vessels as a sign of protest. The fishermen of Rameshwaram and surrounding coastal areas are staging this protest, citing a number of demands including the release of Indian fishermen in Sri Lankan custody and calling on officials to create a situation which will allow them to carry out their activities. The protest campaign, which commenced on the 24th, continued today with protesters engaging in a protest march and hoisting white flags on their vessels. Fishermen from the Mandamam and Pamban area joined the protest today in support of their colleagues from Rameshwaram. The fishermen travelled to the district administrative officer of Rameshwaram to hand over the documents belonging to their vessels. However, the administrative officer Nanda Kumara did not accept these documents. He did, however, promise to assist in the efforts to free the Indian fishermen. Thereafter, the Indian fishermen agreed not to hand over the documents pertaining to their vessels. The fishermen, however, noted that they remain determined to sail to the Kachdev island on vessels flying the white flag and surrender themselves to the Sri Lankan forces.
We put up white flags against the actions of the government today. On the 2nd, we will be seeking asylum in Sri Lanka. We are unable to live here and continue our fishing. We are starving. That is why we are taking these measures. They should release fishermen in both countries along with their vessels.
The launch of the report titled National Integrity Systems Analysis 2014 was held in Colombo yesterday. President of the Sri Lanka Bar Association, Upul Jayasuriya, was the chief guest at the event.
The report was compiled in partnership with Transparency International and South Asian chapters and assessed 13 vital institutions that are critical to the fight against corruption.
Though your report says that 64% of the police are corrupt, I would say something beyond that. Maybe the 500 rupees and the 1000 rupees and the 200-300 that have been collected by those men on the road, they may well have a problem at their own home. But if they are to be condemned for that 500 rupees that they take, if they are to be condemned for the rest of their lives, what about those who take the millions and the billions, not rupees anymore, but in dollars? The Inspector General of Police in Sri Lanka is in a pathetic state. He has forgotten that he is the Inspector General of Police. I wrote to him asking for security to be given on the issue of the security matter when it came up concerning my personal security. He wrote to me stating, yes, I have forwarded this matter to the Secretary of the Ministry asking for his approval. He is using the word asking for his approval. I am not for a moment finding fault with the IGP. He has been very truthful and frank. He is saying what his powers are. He has no power. This is obviously the kind of situation that we had in Beruwala, Darga Town and Aluddama, where he could not give an order to curb the arson and the looting and the robbery that was going on there. He had no power. Probably somebody else has clipped his wings and then taken over his powers. This is the situation that we are going through. If this is the kind of public officers and their independence and professional judgment is being taken away by those who are above them, where is sincerity? Where is a corrupt-free society?
Upul Jayasuriya also spoke on the media freedom.
Our crusade against corruption and the media freedom are the two sides of the same coin. You cannot fight bribery and corruption if there is no strong media. But of course you must understand the media is under constant threat. They are running for their dear life, but they still write. Privileged politicians, political cronies and other power brokers and the main actors of shady transactions see the press as a threat and often target journalists with violence, intimidation and imprisonment to silence them. Of course it is a trend that sets in with power. Yet, more often than not, we get the truth about what is happening in the world from journalists who are willing to put themselves on the block in order to report the truth. Why I advert your attention to the media freedom in Sri Lanka is for the simple reason that there cannot be a crusade fighting for a corruption-free society without the help of the media.
You're watching Primetime News. Now a look at Action TV.
On the 11th of this month, Action TV highlighted the main issue being faced by 25,000 fishing families that live along the 45-kilometer-long stretch of coastal area from Toppua in the Venappu electorate to the Karukavane area in the Chilau electorate. The 7 divisional secretariat areas in which these families reside in have been identified as the Chilau Fishing District by the Fisheries Development Department. The main issue plaguing these fishermen is the lack of a fisheries harbour. The fishermen have overcome this obstacle by anchoring their vessels in the Chilau Lagoon and then using the estuary to take their boats out to sea, even though a number of fishermen have lost their lives using this dangerous route. The estuary is constantly filled with sand, and as a result of this, 63 accidents took place last year when taking boats out to sea and when bringing them back to be anchored. While this issue exists, Action TV also pointed out that the fishermen are now being employed as manual labourers who unload imported fish to the Chilau fish market. A foundation stone was laid in 1999 to construct a fully functioning fisheries harbour for Chilau. While this has been lost in the sands of time, the current administration took steps to allocate funds for this harbour through last year's budget. The Coast Conservation Department brought a vessel to transport sand, which is collected in the estuary. They dubbed it the Salapura Kinduri. However, Salapura Kinduri was taken away to another area on a necessity, leaving behind mounds of sand which had piled up over a couple of months. A backhoe belonging to the Chilau Urban Council has been used since Friday to remove sand in the estuary. However, this too came to a standstill due to a technical failure.
The President granted us 1 million rupees through the Coast Conservation Department, and we are utilizing this money to clear the estuary. This has become a permanent issue. The people are calling for a permanent solution. As politicians, we come here and inspect these issues. We dig up sand from the estuary, but this is a temporary solution.
When will a permanent solution be provided to the fishermen of Chilau? Action TV is on the lookout.
Moving on to business news. Issuing a media release, the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau has said there will be no change to the pension fund that has been set up for Sri Lankan nationals employed in Korea. The Bureau has urged the public not to be duped by false rumors that are being circulated. According to statistics of the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau, approximately 26,000 Sri Lankans are employed in Korea at present. The release from the Bureau goes on to state that there is no connection between the pension scheme that is to be introduced for migrant workers in Korea and the pension fund that has been set up for Sri Lankan workers in Korea.
The Minister of Foreign Employment Promotion and Welfare has confirmed that the Ministry or the Bureau is not going to do any changes with regard to this pension scheme that has been introduced by the South Korean government through their Social Security Board. This program is totally managed by the South Korean government. Bureau of Foreign Employment or the Ministry of Foreign Employment Promotion is not going to do any changes or any amendments to this Cookmin program.
Diane Gomes, the manager of the Sri Lanka boxing contingent to the Commonwealth Games, has said Anuruddha Ratnayaka and Manju Wanyarachi will retire from the sport at the conclusion of the Commonwealth Games. We now take a look at the latest from the 6th day of the Commonwealth Games being held in Glasgow, Scotland.
Today is the 6th day of the Commonwealth Games. Sri Lankan boxer Anuruddha Ratnayaka took on Ghana's Abdul Umar in a semi-final of the 52 kg weight class today. The bout ended in favour of Abdul Umar. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka shuttler Achini Ratnasiri won her first badminton singles game today. She beat Maldivian Afnan Rashid 2-0 to seal her victory. Chandrika Subhashini meanwhile failed to advance to the finals of the women's 400-meter sprint at the Commonwealth Games. She took 4th position at the semi-finals held early this morning, clocking a time of 52.67 seconds. Chandrika Subhashini were not able to qualify to the final round of the women's 400 meters. However, you were able to record your seasonal best and give the other competitors a good challenge. Can you tell us about the event you participated in?
I must say that my strongest opponent was a Jamaican world-class athlete. Therefore, I am satisfied with the timing that I was able to set up in the race. Therefore, I also would like to note that this will help me face future competitions as well. I also hope to perform better in the upcoming Asian Games.
And that's it from the Newsfirst English team for tonight. I'm Ravi Gamage. Thank you for joining us. Good night.